Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the Play Arts Kai Batman Arkham Knight Batgirl figure. And I know what you're thinking. You said you weren't going to buy any more Play Arts figures, Anthony. What are you doing? Well, if you'll notice, I don't have the box because I didn't buy this figure. Someone sent it to me to review it since he knew I wasn't going to buy him anymore. He said I could borrow his and review the figure for you kind people. So thanks to him, you guys get to see the review. Though don't get too excited because it might be the best Arkham Knight figure we got from Play Arts. It's far from a great figure, so let's get it off the stand and take a closer look. This figure stands just about 26 centimeters, which makes it just about 10 inches tall, so it's in line with the rest of the figures. And if you are familiar with my reviews of the other figures from Batman Arkham Knight, then you know they mostly suck. They were really bad compared to most other Play Arts figures, but just pretty terrible in general. This one is better than the rest. Definitely better. It's closer in line with Harley Quinn than the other ones because she was the best thus far. This one's even a little bit better than Harley Quinn. But don't get too excited because it has some terribly bad problems. Really problematic things, despite the overall kind of nice aesthetic of the figure. Let's get into accessories first, though. We have the two fist hands that come on the figure, two open style pose hands, two slightly more relaxed style pose hands, a gun gripping hand, and a batarang gripping hand. And based on those hands, you probably know that we come with some kind of gun, and we come with a batarang. So, we have those, which are standard, that's fine. I assume, since I don't have the box, I assume it comes with the standard Play Arts Kai display stage, though those are pretty terrible anyway, you don't want to use them. So not bad spread of accessories. Is the figure itself any good? Well, paint job is pretty clean. I have to say the gold to black transitions are pretty nice. We do have some shading throughout the blacks to give it some character, and we have a little bit of silver mixed in too, so that's okay. The boots are very dull. I don't know if that's accurate because I don't remember how it looked in the game. And I didn't think I would need to look it up, but apparently I do. We have a little bit of yellow on the cape. I'm assuming that's the way it's supposed to be. And the hair is painted pretty nicely. In fact, the face is painted pretty nicely, despite the fact that it has a pretty bad sculpt. Something about the face is weird. I don't know if it's the way the lips are sculpted, the size of her cranium. It looks like she has a really big top of her head. Face looks kind of long. I don't know. There's something off about it. It's not terrible. It's not anywhere near as bad as Batman. But it does look odd to me. Maybe it won't to you, and in which case, that's good. You don't have to worry about it. But otherwise, it looks pretty nice. I'm okay with it. Here's one thing I noticed also. Is that thing supposed to be off-center and asymmetrical? I don't know. I can't remember, but it is on the figure, so use that information and do with it what you will. In terms of articulation, we do have a ball hinge for the hair, which I don't know how I feel about that. Since it's not all of the hair, it's a little bit weird. It's just that middle chunk, so I don't think that's great. I don't particularly care for it. I think it would have been better to just have a nicely sculpted entire hair piece rather than that. We have a ball peg connecting the head to the neck, which gives us pretty good range, no problems there. The neck is on that hinge system again, so it can lean forward and back and rotate, which isn't terrible on this particular figure, so it's not a big deal. We have the ball hinges that make up the entire shoulder joint, so they allow her arms to rotate forward, which works better than most of the figures they've done that on, so that's not terrible. You can raise the arms up pretty well, so that's a good thing, and that is where you get your bicep swivel, so it's not too wow, I can't talk sometimes. It's not too bad. I would like to point out, though, that her shoulder on this side is much longer this way than on this side. I don't know if that's going to stand out for you guys, but it looks odd in person. It just, you can't make it look right. This one's like maybe 50% longer than that one. I don't know how they managed to do that, but it looks very weird. We have our ball hinge elbow, as you would expect, so you get really good range out of that, and since she's a skinnier figure, it blends in pretty nicely. It doesn't break up the sculpt, and it works. It'll swivel at both ends. That's good. Same joint for the wrist. However, the plastic is not the right color. That looks pretty weird. It's not terrible. It's not deal-breaking, but it's not great. For the torso, we have our double ball peg, which works really nicely. I like that. That's a good thing. For the hips, we have, or for the lower torso, we have our single ball peg, which again works really nicely. So that's a good thing. Doesn't lean forward and back as much as I would like, but it does work. So again, that's a good thing. For the hips themselves, all the way out to the side, looks pretty good. No problems there. Going forward, again, looks pretty good, not too bad, except you do separate the butt cheeks, and not the way you're thinking. I mean, actually separating the butt cheek. But if you don't look at it, it's not that big of a deal, so I guess it's something you could overlook. You do get your thigh swivel down here out of this cut joint, which is not my favorite design. But something I do like is that they use the ball hinge for the knee. And for the slimmer figures, this is definitely the way to go. It looks much better and affords the proper range of motion, so I like that. Same joint for the ankle as at the wrists and basically everything else. You're going to get a tiny bit of an ankle rocker, but what I would suggest is you just wiggle it around and actually use that ball hinge to give yourself an ankle rocker. So that's pretty good. Now, let's talk about the cape. The worst cape on a Play Arts figure that I have ever seen. It is terrible. I hate this cape design so very much. So much. They decided to go and make it even worse than before by adding... We have a ball hinge up here. We have one ball hinge at the top, which lets the whole thing do this. And then we have two more ball hinges down here. So it's super segmented, and it just looks lousy. There's no good way to pose this to make it look right. None. The whole point of having this top piece is to hide the articulation, which they used to do. So they did that now at this piece, but down here we have two showing ball hinges, and it just looks horrible. It's terrible. And the bad thing is that they actually painted the cape nicely to have the shiny at the bottom and the more flat at the top, and it just... They took a cape that didn't need to look stupid, and they made it look super stupid, and it kills the figure. Most of the figure's decent, the head could be better, but the cape is horrendous, and it ruins the figure for me, especially at the hiked up price point. I can't justify it. That cape is bad. The rest of the figure is good enough to be, maybe it's worth getting, I don't know, it's up to you type of deal, but that cape is so bad, I have to say don't buy it. Don't give them any more money. The only way I'm going to give them more money is if that Wolverine, which looks like it's going to be pretty awesome, ends up looking pretty awesome. I might get it. Maybe Deadpool, but they haven't earned my money back yet, and so far, I'm pretty happy about that because they keep raising the prices. And there goes my phone because I forgot to turn it off. Alright guys, we're going to go there. I guess if you want to overlook the cape, the rest of the figure might be good enough to warrant the purchase, but that's going to be a tough judgment call on your behalf. So I gave you the information you need. The rest is up to you. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have new videos up every single day. We talk about movies, TV shows, video games, and of course, action figures. So come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.